Sorry.
Welcome, everybody.
I started with being phlegmy. Sorry.
It's on brand for us. We're the Unready Room. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Unready Room. I'm Dan Gunther. With me, of course, Brandi Jackola.
Hi.
Hello. Um, Boy, do we have a fun discussion today, I think,
Mhm.
because we are talking today about the penultimate episode of season 5 and possibly all of Lower Decks. The episode is Fisher Quest, season 5, episode 9, and boy, I'm loving the buzz that I'm seeing on the internet about this episode because, whoo boy, is there a lot to talk about here. Um,
Mhm.
so first of all, welcome everybody. Seeing a lot of regulars. Thank you for joining us, Dave, of course, Matthew, Wellington, Ricky, um, Donnie, DJ Kitty Cat. Welcome. Good to see all of you here. Really appreciate you, and of course, to everybody watching later, we really appreciate you as well. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, boy, wow, where do we start with this one?
At the beginning?
I've heard that it's a very good place to start. So
Hmm.
let's yeah, let's get right into it. We start in our universe on the Cerritos, which is something that we're not going to get a lot of in this episode. And the first thing I noticed, Boimler's beard. He's
Full
got the full
beard.
beard. It's
Full
looking great.
beard. Yes. I was waiting for that, and I'm glad that he finally got there.
Yeah, for sure. I hope he's been getting those compliments now that he was looking for earlier because it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. My question is, if he dyes his hair purple, then he's dyeing the beard too, but then when it's coming in, is he dyeing it right as it starts to come in? I mean,
Another hair.
interesting, interesting.
Well,
But
it's a good
he looks great.
question.
He
He
looks great.
does.
I
He
like
looks
it.
great.
I like a
Uh,
beard.
yeah. Yeah. They look good on some people. I'll
Yes,
go that
they
far.
do look good. They do look good on some people. Not everyone, not every male identifying person can grow a beard well. And that is not what's the word I'm looking for here? That is not a failing on their part. It's
No,
just the way
definitely.
genetics go. So, but then there are people who it's just like, no, I prefer you with a beard. Please do not ever shave. You look magnificent. So,
Mhm,
there's both sentences. Yeah. Let's try that word again. Both ends of the spectrum is what I was trying to say.
mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Uh, so yeah, oh yeah, Rutherford's implant. We should talk about. Apparently, it can shoot plasma. It's there's some sort of malfunction going on. I was wondering on a repeat viewing, like, is that something significant? Because sometimes I don't know. I can't decide if that was just like the setup joke for something that's going to threaten Boimler's life so that they can mention that he doesn't have a backup anymore because they think William Boimler died. I don't know. I don't know if that's something that's gonna be significant, but it was interesting.
Well, he seems really irritated irritated. Wow, what is wrong with my mouth today? He seems irritated about this malfunction.
Mhm.
And I thought there's a reason why they've shown us this, but I don't know what that reason is. I'm just going to wait and see.
Yeah, is it Chekhov's laser eye? Good question.
Wow. Wow, that's terrifying. Is potentially terrifying. Yeah.
Uh, Interesting. So yeah, like I said, the conversation kind of goes towards William Boimler, who, as far as they know, died in a freak accident of a gas release on the Titan. But as we know, he was co-opted by a mysterious organization whose name they didn't actually mention, but we know is Section 31 because of the black badge.
Yeah.
And yeah, we zap to an alternate reality where apparently our from the Prime Universe, Captain William Boimler is commanding the USS Anaximander a Defiant class ship, which, first of all, let me just say, seeing the Defiant class flying around in animation made me so happy. I love the Defiant.
It's so pretty. It's so pretty. The ship animation in this series overall is just fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
There are no complaints whatsoever on any of the ships. They're just brilliantly done.
Yeah. Here. Especially as we get into the later seasons, it's been so good. And
Mm,
this episode has some amazing visuals that are right up there, I think, with the best visuals in any Star Trek, really. Uh,
absolutely agree.
yeah. Okay, jumping around, but like when they're crossing through the fissure, so they're like in this kind of weird other space with the weird kind of prismatic light going on there. That was just beautiful. Like that was gorgeous. I loved that.
It was fantastic. Especially when it's just the little things. It's little things. Like when, two people are in sick bay, I guess, and there's a
Mhm.
skylight and you see that light
Yeah.
filtering through. And just those little touches that maybe you don't notice, but it adds so much to the atmosphere.
Yeah. And DJ Kitty Cat, yeah, this is something that I wanted to bring up, and I'll bring it up now because I might forget it later. But yeah, when they did that quick warp jump, I'm going to use the term camera. I know it's animation, but just bear
Mhm.
with me. But like they go into warp and it's like the camera jumps to warp and passes them and turns around and sees them come out of warp. That was so cool.
So
Like
cool.
the like you'd have to storyboard that shot to get it across exactly what you want from the animators, and it's gorgeous. It's fully realized just beautifully.
Yeah, it's one of those things where your brain just is like, "Oh, this is live action," all of a sudden.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So cool. I mean, I know even in live action it would still
I
be
know.
animated
I know,
sort
but
of,
still.
but it's yeah, it's just beautiful. Great stuff. So anyway, let's jump back to where we are in the episode. We have this is all before the credits, by the way, before the opening
Mhm.
credits. The things in this episode that just made my jaw drop. So we've got Captain William Boimler, who is somebody I was really hoping they'd, do something with before the end of the series. And I was
Yes.
kind of thinking like, only 2 episodes left. I guess that's kind of just nope, we got him. Uh, Commanding this ship full of castaways from various quantum realities, to Paul.
What?
I never, ever, ever thought that Jolene Blalock would come back to Star Trek.
Mhm.
Uh, and the fact that she's here voicing to Paul, credited in the closing credits as just Jolene,
Yeah.
interestingly. That was
Hmm.
interesting. But yeah, we find out she's been married in her reality. She's been married to Trip Tucker for 63 years, which means either the Enterprise finale as we saw it in These Are the Voyages didn't happen, or the novel verse happened where he actually faked his death and joined Section 31, yada yada yada, whatever. Either way, to live in that reality where that episode
Right?
didn't happen.
Mhm. 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 Mhm.
That would be
I
great.
I still say I just look at it as a holodeck episode that,
Hmm.
was written the the program was written by people who came after and weren't actually there. That's how I explain that
Yeah,
episode.
absolutely. Which is supported by canon. That's what it is. So
Mhm.
yeah. Anyway, I'm looking forward to the day that your podcast, Shield Podulation, that you draw
Mhm.
that episode.
Ooh, we will have words to say, let me tell you.
Oh, that would be fun.
Let me tell you. It's, and you brought Shran into this? Why?
Hmm.
This is it's just don't dishonor my characters like that. Don't do that.
Yeah. Anyway, Jolene, to hear her voice again, that was so great. And she did such a good job as to Paul. Like
Mhm.
I was the last time I watched the episode just this morning, I was really listening to the performances, and she has the cadence just right. And then like the moment at the end with when she transfers the Katra, um, she's got that like break in her voice where like she does that so well. It was really well done.
She's brilliant, and I'm so happy. I'm so
Yeah.
happy to even to just hear her voice as T'Pol again.
Yeah, absolutely. So from there we learn that Curzon Dax is one of the crew members, the tactical officer apparently, um, in a reality where he has not yet passed the Dax symbiont to Jadzia, um, which was so a lot of people have been asking about like why are these people all from different time periods? How does that work? I think the simple explanation, and I think that line really explains it, is that like a lot of the quantum realities just move at different speeds. I think.
If you
Because,
want a lesson on how that works, go watch, Into the Spider-Verse,
mhm,
because the same thing happens there. All of these spider people from different universes, different realities, have different times that they're
yeah,
from. So acting like the entire universe, multiverse, is in sync at the same time period is ridiculous.
yeah. And I mean, even if you don't buy that particular explanation, like you could also say that the fissures between them just also open to different time periods or something. So
Yeah.
I think that that line where Boimler says, where William Boimler says, he's from a reality where he has not yet passed the Dax symbiont. That just tells me like, oh, a little bit of temporal
Mhm.
not quite aligning. So
Yeah.
that made sense to me.
Agree.
Um, so what did you think of Curzon Dax and how he was played here? By I think it was Fred Tatasciore played
I'm
him.
pretty sure. I was
Yeah.
just gonna say the same thing. I'm like, I really think that Fred definitely did that voice. Um, he's pretty much what I expected. Just, honestly, from all of the times, Jadzia talked about Curzon and Benjamin talked about Curzon, on Deep Space Nine, I'm like, "Yep, yep, that fits."
Hmm. I like Matthew. He's just Trill cosplaying Klingon Shax. I can see that. I can see that.
Yep, yep, yep.
I love that he practices his batleth on the bridge. Like,
Mhm.
what are you doing? Sit down.
Weirdo.
Yeah, if Carol Freeman were, what a weirdo.
Yes.
Oh man. Okay, so from there we learn that the chief medical officer is Elim Garrick, a
Love it.
Starfleet medical officer, who's aboard the ship with his now husband, a hologram based on Dr. Julian Bashir. Mwah.
Victory!
That was great. That
It
was
was so
wonderful.
great. That was actually at the point where I grabbed Dave and I was, like, shaking him back and forth, and he's like, "Ow."
Oh, speaking of Dave, sorry. If an action figure ever comes out, this has to be what its name is on the box. Cultural appropriation Dax. I love it.
Oh, that's my husband, you guys. You can see why I love him.
Awesome. Oh, that's great. But yeah, Garrick and Bashir, that was so great. First of all, to have Andrew Robinson and Alexander Siddig back as their playing their roles there was incredible. And to have them I love Curzon Dax talking about, oh, no lovers for Dax ever fall out of these fissures. I love that they found each other, these two from different realities. I don't know, it was really cool.
Yeah, there was actually an episode of the sadly no longer running, Vedic Assembly that
Mm,
where we talked about Deep Space Nine, where we
yeah.
just did it basically a fan fiction write-up of Bashir and Garrett getting together after Cardassia had basically been, destroyed mostly. I mean, there were still people there, obviously, still people alive, and just yeah, we did a whole fan fiction.
Yeah, and the two actors actually also did, I remember during COVID, right? They took a script and did like readings of, and they had gotten together their characters post Deep Space Nine, and is really cool.
Yes.
That's awesome. Um yes. Yes, we'll just leave that there.
There was somebody who posted that on Blue Skies talking about this episode, and I wish I could tell you who it was. I'd have to go back through my feed, and I can't do that right now. And said, "Yeah, this is really gonna piss Rick Berman off."
And DJ Kitty Cat, thank you. Yes. You are absolutely right. During lockdown that happened. COVID is still a thing. It's not
And
gone
it
away.
it will continue to be a thing, just like the flu and the cold.
Yay.
It's here to stay. We can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
If we had done what was necessary, we could have probably stamped it out, but we're idiots. So
Yeah, we're not the smartest.
no, we really aren't. Because liberty is more important than staying alive. Well, what's liberty if you're dead? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not saying liberty is a bad thing. I'm just saying that we should have done what needed to be done.
Yeah, for sure. Um maybe the people in charge got promoted too fast, because we meet another member of the crew who's going to join them. Lieutenant Harry Kim.
My first thought was, oh no, he's going to be trouble.
Well, we find out also during this that most of the crew is Harry Kim's, according to T'Pol. They rescue a lot of Harry Kims, and it turns out all of them are still ensigns, except for this new guy.
And they're all so happy.
Yeah. My favorite was, again, jumping around, but at the end when they're all beamed back to the Anaximander, and Boimler's like, "Good to have you back, Kims. Good to be back, sir." It's just so happy. I love it.
Yeah.
Um,
So great.
uh,
Yep. Garrett got a lot of work in this episode.
yeah, I absolutely agree with DJ Kitty Cat here. Garrett Wong was the MVP of the episode. He was another one that I just really paid attention to the voice work this last
Mhm.
time around, and like, he's so good. His his shouts of surprise and like breaking
Yep.
voice and stuff. That is un-Kim like behavior. Just so many great lines.
So many. He really is. I agree completely. MVP.
I'm Harry bleeping Cam. Oh,
Oh, that dear man.
what was it? Don't try and trick me with engineering jargon. I have two pips.
Yeah, spewing engineering nonsense.
Yes, right. Thank you. Spewing engineering nonsense. Oh man. Um so we also learn that William Boimler is getting very jaded with this whole crossing dimensional barriers thing and going into different alternate realities. And I felt like this was sort of a bit of a meta commentary on what a lot of storytelling is doing in the wider universe MCU these days, with the whole just different realities, multiverse type stories and stuff. And he's like, oh great, it's just another, like you say, lazy derivative remix of things he's seen before. What are we going to get this time? Neelix with a crew cut, a really big Spock. Nice reference there, by the way.
Mhm.
And then later on he talks about like, oh, a reverse Picard, a Borgified Kirk, or I don't know, a human Worf. What's a reverse Picard?
Yeah, somebody needs to explain that. Reverse of what?
Like, what aspect of Picard is reversed? Does he have like lots of hair? What's going on?
Is he female? Um,
Or is it like in the in Tapestry, where he's, not a decorated captain but has taken a different career path or something? Like, I don't know what's going on.
he's just a lowly science ensign? What?
Yeah. I need somebody to. It's Picard with a fro. There you go.
A big, beautiful fro.
Yes, absolutely. I need somebody to illustrate what a reverse Picard is. I want to see that.
Yes. Yes. I'm sure there's somebody out there who is going to hear this and is going to say, "Ah, I shall be the one."
Yeah. And Patrick, I had that thought too. The possible reference to Shatner's book, The Return, a Borgified Kirk. Could be.
Hmm.
Indeed. So Kim's line, by the way, I have to say, where they're talking about the different dimensions, and he says, "There's more than 2 dimensions." I don't know why that line killed me so much. That was so funny.
Yeah, well, it's because for a while it was just this in the mirror universe, so
Yeah. Well, I mean, but at that point, he wouldn't have even been talking about the mirror universe because he just knew he crossed over into a different dimension just now. So he's like, my original one and this one. Oh, weird. There's 2 dimensions. There's more. Oh,
infinite, probably.
I think we
Infinite
should have
dimensions.
realized he was an idiot at that point.
Yes, completely.
And I'm not saying Harry Kim's an idiot. I'm saying
No.
this Harry Kim's an idiot, borne out by the events of this episode.
Yeah. Well, that happens. Not every Harry Kim is going to be, like Harry Kim.
Mhm.
Sometimes they're gonna be they have different life experiences, and that makes them react differently to situations.
Nah.
So, just yeah.
Tristan, there we go. We hit on it. We figured out. We figured it out.
He pulls it up, like, around his chin, 'cause it's just like, mhm.
I love it. I love it. Um, so DJ Kitty Cat, supposedly the soap bubbles explanation was written by Dr. Aaron.
Of
Um,
course it would be.
that makes sense. I did love the like Star Trek metaphor thing though. It's like a bubble bath. And like that's the end of the explanation. Okay,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like a bubble bath. Sure. Okay, yeah. And I was
Oh,
waiting, I was like, "It's like a bubble bath."
I kind of thought
Oh,
there
oh,
was
no,
more to that story.
that's just it. It's just like a bubble bath. Okay.
Yep, that's it. Um, okay, so we also in this get Garrick and Bashir arguing about which reality they will end up living in. And it's right there from the beginning, right? Where Bashir brings it up and Garrick says, I haven't thought of it at all. Yes, you have. That's what you do. And then this whole argument starts out. Um, I really enjoyed that because it's a little bit of a deep cut to Cardassian psychology from Deep Space Nine, where there was the visiting Cardassian scientists and O'Brien and that one played by Tracy Scoggins kept arguing and they kept like fighting and then she like came on to him and he's like, what's going on? And she's like, we were arguing all the time. That's flirting. He's like, no, it's not. I love that. And Garrick at the end is just like, well, I enjoy it. It's great.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting.
No. And that was so sweet. Any reality where I get to be with you is best. And either one of them is just like, I'd follow you to your dimension, absolutely. That was really sweet.
Yeah, what would it matter? If you're home is a person, not a place.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't matter where they live because their home is in each other.
I also love that because they have this technology, they can retire like that really opens up possibilities to retiring anywhere.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Hmm. So they do rescue another wayward multiversal person whose shuttle comes flying out of this fissure. We get an alternate mariner, which I was really happy about because then we get the Boiler Mariner thing for the rest of the episode. But this is a different mariner. She's an engineer. She's a little bit more risk averse than
Mm,
the mariner we know from the Prime universe. And most shockingly of all, she doesn't roll up her sleeves. Her sleeves are down the whole episode.
yep. She's yeah, it's interesting to think about how that Mariner came about. What was the turning point?
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Interestingly, she still goes by Mariner, which, as we learned, is her middle name. So there's still possibly some tension there, or possibly for a completely different reason she goes by that. But I found that interesting that she wasn't like Captain Becky Freeman, right? She
Mm.
still went with Mariner. Um, Also, just the understated moment on the bridge where like they're hugging. She's like, "Poems, I think that's to Paul." Like her face is like,
Yeah,
that was so good.
it was so good. She really is a fangirl.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and then yeah, so they're getting caught up in the mess hall, and Boimler, another favorite line of mine, where he's kind of looking at her and she's like, "What?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing. It's really nice having you here." And Mariner says, "Yeah, I'm pretty great."
That's a Mariner.
I like that. That was awesome. Um, the conversations happening in the background with the Kims, by the way, talking about their different experiences. The one question, "What did you do with your Tuvix?" I liked that.
Ah, it would be interesting to see how that was answered, but we don't get that.
Yeah. Oh, this bit. So Tristan, yeah, they talk about her boiler. Yeah, pretty normal, except he wears a leather jacket, like everywhere, like wears it to bed. That sounded like a completely ad-libbed line to me, and I
Mhm.
love that. Like, just the way she delivered that, it's like everywhere, like to bed. And then
Well,
so
that's what happens when you have an improver voicing a character.
yep. I love that. I always want to hear what like the alternate takes were, because they always say they do the script and then they just let them kind of go off. Like, I'd love to hear some of those alternate takes for different things.
I would love an entire, release on Blu-ray of all of that, like, from
Mm,
season 1 to season 5, all of the alternate takes.
yeah. Hmm. Yeah, that would be great. True fan, like deep dive into all of it for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. I had the closed captions on, um, and you're probably watching it like me on Paramount Plus in Canada. So I'm wondering if it was the same for me. I didn't notice though, but that
It it
sucks.
it was the same here. It's
Oh,
the same
really?
in the States, yeah, and because I heard Tuvix, but it said Tuvok, and it's not the first
Hmm.
time that subtitles have been wrong.
Yeah. Oh, that's too bad. That's
Yeah.
annoying. Oops. Yeah. So other people too saying, yeah, that sucks. Yeah. Yeah. Famous ad libs, right? She named a whole character from
Mhm.
an ad lib in season one. Yeah.
Yep.
I love it.
A character that was probably never going to be more than just in the background, and then
Move,
Tawny just
Jennifer.
decided, "No, this is someone I'm gonna single out."
Um, so there's some techno babble here. They figure out the whole rift thing, that when one rift is opened, another one opens elsewhere, and they've been chasing the wrong ones. But if they tacky on some stuff, they'll draw that ship there. So okay, cool. Um, and it works. This was Walt Mariner's idea. She is a great engineer, much to Boimler's surprise. I like that bit. Why do you sound surprised? Oh, that was good. Um, and so yeah, they draw the ship there, and it looks very reminiscent. It's based on the ring ship Enterprise, the one of the early designs for the Enterprise that we've seen over the years, which was really cool. That was kind of neat, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? This is old Earth technology kind of thing or something. Um, and then we get the whole chase with them and all of this through the rifts, the really gorgeous ship shots, like I said. Um, and yeah, uh, we crash land on this planet thanks to, what was it? thanks to Dax's insubordination, according to T'Pol. That was
Yeah.
great. And yeah, it's the Beagle is the name of the ship. And this, like, I thought we had gotten all of the mind-blowing, crazy cameos out of the way. And I will freely admit, when they're on the planet and they're in the cell and they're talking there, I was exactly like Mariner at exactly the same time where they're talking. And I'm like, I know that voice. What's this character model based on? She looks so familiar. And I was right there with Mariner, who's like, you look really familiar. I was like, I know. What the revelation that they got Alfred Woodard back as Lily Sloan from Star Trek First Contact
Wow.
blew my mind. That was incredible.
Yeah.
I, I
She's
love it.
she's she's a badass in any reality,
Yes.
Lily Sloan. But also, Ms. Woodard is one of my favorites. So I've seen her in
Mhm.
many, many things,
Oh
and I
yeah.
just really love her.
And yeah, the I can't remember the name of the alien race. But yeah, they're a lot meaner in this whoops. They're a lot meaner in this reality. They did not osmose their most brackish gratitude. uh,
Uh, I thought I wrote it down, but apparently I did not.
uh,
Qua I can't
something.
remember.
Yeah.
It began with a KW. I know that much.
Yeah. Now my brain is stuck on Quacky Monkey Lizard from Star Wars, and I just can't get past that.
Somebody look it up for us, please.
Quackpins? Is that something? Sounds
Some
Quappa? Something like that. Yeah.
No, I'm gonna have to look it up 'cause
Quappins, I think, right?
I think so, but
Yeah, there we go.
yeah, carry on. I'll just, zip on over to Memory Alpha.
Yeah, it's Quappins, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
No, y yeah, you're right. Okay.
Awesome. Oops. Sounded a lot like the name of TV director Ken Quapis. Hmm, yeah. All right. Um, so yeah, Lily Sloan, that was amazing. I'm so glad that she's back. She was great. Uh, but they do need to get rescued. So enter Garrick, who intimates that he still has a very sordid past, probably with the Obsidian Order, like the Prime Universe Garrick. His old habits die hard. I just love his delivery on all of these lines.
Of course. Perfection.
100%. Um, and yeah, we go to repair Lily's ship, um, which the interdimensional drive runs on unobserved complex gluon cores. I love out of all of those, the word that I had trouble with was complex.
Mhm.
Unobserved complex gluon cores.
Wow.
Well, you
Just
better observe them because some of them are damaged. I like that. Oh
Ugh.
yeah, I wanted to comment on this too. Thanks, Matthew. They're too cute to be mean. And
Mhm.
then Dax says, well, at least they're not drinking our bones. Because yeah, I was immediately thinking, too cute to be mean. What about the Moopsie?
Yep.
So the writers were thinking on those lines too, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ricky, that's a good point. I love how Star Trek this story is. There's no bad guys. Like it's
Mhm.
just uh an alternate federation, like Boimler says. They're explorers. They're just exploring in a different manner. Very, very Star Trek. I would say Kim turns out to be a bit of a bad guy in this, but um it's more misguided hubris than I don't know. He's pretty malicious, I guess.
Yeah, well, he is because he doesn't listen.
Mhm.
They're trying to save him, and he won't listen.
He kidnaps, as he says, all these beautiful Kims. Oh, yeah. Um, so yeah, they've got to chase him down because he's stealing the ship. He's going to take all these Kims to a reality where they're appreciated and where they can rank up. Okay, let's examine this plan first of all. Um, Even just using supply and demand, now you have an oversupply of Kims. There's going to be even fewer promotions to go around.
Exactly, not
Terrible.
thinking.
Yeah, not thinking at all.
How did he make lieutenant with that kind of brain?
I don't know.
That's not thinking.
Yeah, that's a good point. Any Harry Kim that is cutthroat enough to make lieutenant has got to be a bad guy. That's a good point. That's a good point. um so yeah, if he takes the ship's not completely repaired yet, if he takes it through the rift, he's going to cause an explosion that is going to destroy all realities basically. Which happens. That's what happens.
Mhm,
Um Using the deflector though, because it's a Starfleet ship, deflectors are amazing. Lily can direct it all into one reality, thereby saving all of the rest of the infinite realities. And yeah, we all saw this ending coming, but it was still really awesome how it played out with Boimler saying, "Scan me, send it to my reality. I trust those people. I'm there, Mariner's there." Um, I don't know, for Lieutenant Junior's grade, I don't know that I'd be necessarily pinning the entire multiverse on them, but he doesn't know that they also have T'Lyn because he never met her. So that's the
mhm,
ace in the hole, I think.
absolutely.
But that was interesting. I like that, and I loved that bit where you do that to your friends, like, and Lily's like, no, he trusts his friends. I loved that.
Mhm,
That was really cool.
so good.
And then the other thing, of course, is Dax has been mortally wounded by the Quappins. Is that
Mhm,
right? Something like that. And that whole bit between him and T'Pol was so touching. With friends, since when have we been friends? Since the day we met. Just so matter of factly.
mm,
Um, and then yeah, mind melding with the Dax symbiont, that's really cool. We've never seen that in Star Trek. And taking on the Katras, like all of Dax's memories from the symbiont. That What a really cool idea. Like, how have we never thought of that before in Star Trek?
right? Because the symbiont is going to have the memories of all of the hosts, every
Hmm.
single host, and that is a wealth of knowledge that you can't just let die.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's funny because yeah, these characters, like, honestly, we only know them for the 25 minutes we've seen them in this episode, but like, I love them. I love these
Mhm,
characters and I'm very touched by all of this. So, yeah.
yes. I wanna keep all the Kims.
Yeah, somebody save the Kims. Not you, Lieutenant Kim. Don't try to save them. You just go away.
Go just, yeah.
Nah. Uh yeah, and so oh, the other thing I didn't mention was, with Boimler being so, jaded about all of the dimensional hopping, and then Lily's speech to him about, the things she's seen and the things she's experienced, that was a really cool moment as well. The one thing I will say is watching it a repeated number of times, it feels almost a little bit, like, human-centric and, like, if you examine it a little too closely, she's like, "Ah, meeting aliens is cool, but like humanity, like focus on humanity." And I was like, "Ooh." If you examine that a little bit too closely, that could feel almost a little xenophobic, but
Hmm.
um it was still really cool. It was very inspiring and I liked that. And I loved Boimler imagining the possibilities and coming around a bit there.
Yeah. Well, when you've spent so much time chasing somebody that you can't catch or even identify, and you just really wanna go home, because it seems to me like William just really wants to go home at this point.
Mhm.
He feels defeated, I think. And
Yeah,
so he needs to look at things in a different light, and Lily provides that and
absolutely, yeah.
gets him back into, you know, not completely downtrodden Boimler.
Some great comments here. So, Tristan, it's a metaphor for what Star Trek is actually about. Absolutely. Spoiler alert, as I've said many times, they're not exploring strange new worlds. They are exploring humanity. That's what Star Trek is about. The human adventure is just beginning, right?
Mhm.
All of that stuff, exploring the human condition through characters like Spock and Odo and all of this, right? Like that's what we're exploring is humanity, really.
Yep.
Um, and Ricky's comment here, I love this. I hadn't thought of this. Lillian Boimler is a bit of a role reversal versus Picard and Lily in First Contact.
Mhm.
Brilliant. Yep, absolutely. That's so cool. Yeah, Lily and Zephyr built the ship to make money. And then Picard shows what came of it, right? And
Mhm.
the wonder and all of that. I love that. That's a good point too. So it reminded me of Q's line in All Good Things. I'm assuming you mean at the very end when he's um it's like that's what this is all about, not mapping stars or studying nebula, but exploring the unlimited, oh shoot, now I used to have this memorized, but exploring the unknown possibilities of existence, I think something like that. um yeah, awesome. I love, guys, have I ever told you I really like Star Trek?
This is the first I'm hearing of it.
Huh. Well, I think I'm really starting to like this whole Star Trek thing.
I feel like it's, like, one of my favorite things ever, maybe?
Yeah, yeah, maybe, maybe. I don't know.
Mm,
How many hours do I dedicate to this in my life?
so many. Like, I don't
So
even
many.
I just my brain just shut down when I started to think about how long I've been watching Star Trek and how many hours I've spent on it, and my brain just said, "Cannot compute."
Well, so, like we said, they focus it all on the Prime universe, basically, and piggyback a message to Boimler. They're both Boimler. You know who I mean.
Yeah.
Um, Brad Boimler, and his reaction, of course, oh, as long as he doesn't freak out. We all saw that coming, but it
Yep.
was wonderful. We're all gonna die. Oh God.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good
There we
times.
go. Screams and crashes as it
Mhm.
fades to black.
Jack and
Oh,
the Boimler screams, "At it again." Love it.
yeah, so good. Um, the only thing I think in my notes, just looking here, that I didn't bring up that I wanted to was Mariner describing Boimler as a big Starfleet nerd, like Archer, and
Mhm.
Paul says, you have an Archer in your universe, right? I do. And big Starfleet nerd is an accurate description. I love that. Little behind the scenes thing. Both Brandi and I showed up at the start of this, and we logged on, and our nickname that we had chosen was both Big Starfleet Nerd. We were both willing to change, but Brandi got in there first and
Yeah,
changed to one of her backups. But
I decided it should be me. Be me.
and I mean, I am a big Starfleet nerd too. So
I'm just a big Star Trek nerd.
yay!
Uh, Con be with
uh,
you.
I got to
The
get my
wreath of
wreath of
Con.
Khan up.
The wreath of Con be with you. Yes.
Nice. So, is there anything that we haven't brought up that you wanted to mention? There's so much in this episode.
There is. I do love that when Harry Kim has basically kidnapped all of the other Kims, and they're in the background going, "We didn't want to come. We were forced to do this." And they managed
Oh,
to beam them out just before that ship just goes.
yeah, that explosion, and
Mhm.
then when it kicks off, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's how it would be in space because there is no sound. It's a
Mhm.
vacuum. It's a vacuum. That's why starship sounds, they only happen on the inside.
Yeah.
But, that's the only people to really do that right have been, Firefly and The Expanse.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, the last thing that I wanted to say, and I guess I don't know if this could be final thoughts, but is my third time watching this episode. And it was that final bit on the bridge where you have Boimler and Mariner and T'Pol and Lily Sloan talking about the fate of the entire multiverse and what they're going to do. And it just cemented to me what animated Star Trek can do. And it just like I was kind of overwhelmed in that moment as to like how amazing is this moment, how wonderful it is that we've got these actors back doing this, and the story is incredible. It's as good as anything in any other Star Trek. And it not I'm not wanting to end this on a down note, but like how can this be the point at where this series is ending? Like how? How have they allowed that? Like the people in charge that make the decisions, the bean counters, I know they don't care about Star Trek stories or whatever, or anything like that, but it hit me in that moment, like, why is it this ending now? Like when they're showcasing exactly how good this can be. And it made me angry in that moment.
Same.
Um, Angry because it's so good, which
Mhm.
is weird, but like that's where my head was at. And I'm curious your thoughts on that because
Yeah.
I got pretty upset, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, I did too because I'm just like my reaction is like, "How is this the end?" And then Dave and I had another discussion on how animation is amazing because you can continue shows like this in perpetuity because you all you need is the voices. You need the voices, and of course the voices are very, very important, but it's not based on the image of the person.
Mhm.
The person doesn't have to show up and do everything in person, and their aging is not an issue.
Yeah.
Just there's so much to mine here that can't be done in live action, and they just threw it away.
Yeah.
They just threw it away. Why? Because money.
Yeah.
It's always because of money, and I can promise you that Lower Decks costs less to produce than Strange New Worlds.
It would
And
have to, right?
Strange New Worlds, they're already greenlit for a season 4 even,
Yeah.
and it's just not fair.
Yeah. I mean, you can have Andrew Robinson come back to
Yeah,
play Garrick, and he doesn't have to sit in a makeup chair for 6 hours. Like,
no.
how wonderful is that? Somebody in the comments earlier, I didn't highlight it, but they mentioned, like, probably one of the big reasons that Jolene Blalock came back is that she could do this in her pajamas. Like,
Mhm.
you know, like none of these people are gonna come back to play them in live action, or if they do, like, it's a big deal, you know?
Yeah.
But, it's a big deal that they come back in animation, but it's so much more doable, and, ah, I don't know. It makes me really mad.
Me too, because it's very short-sighted and it's
Mhm.
selfish.
Absolutely. Well, on that upbeat note, final thoughts and rating for Fisher Quest, because I don't even know how to rate this one, so I'm gonna let you go first.
Um, this was amazing. This made me scream. This made me hurt
Mhm.
Dave accidentally in my enthusiasm. Sorry, babe. Um, it was a lot of my fan wishes coming true as well, and I was so into it, and just like this is the best multiverse thing I've ever seen, and, this is not even the end of the actual series yet,
Mhm.
but man, did they pull out all the big guns for this, and it shows, and it's amazing. Um, So I guess I'm going to give this, so many choices of what I could say. I'm gonna give this one big Kim mutiny.
I wanna watch that movie, The Kim Mutiny.
The Kim mutiny.
That's really good. Oh, I like this rating. All the universes.
Yep, all the universes. That's a good one too.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, my love of this episode knows no bounds, basically. I really, really enjoyed this. It was so much fun to have, first of all, just have those characters back, but also in a story which is really good. Like this wasn't a stunt. The characters were all used really well. Like to Paul and Curzon Dax, their story had real meat to it and real emotion. Garrick and Bashir, there was like really good, just emotional, meaty moments with them. It wasn't like a, oh hey, look who's here kind of thing. If that's the case, they could put 10 people in here and just make it a little bit, but no, they judiciously chose and had really good stories for these characters. And like you said, it's not even the final episode. Like, how the heck are they gonna, where are they gonna go from here? And it's funny because the last couple episodes have not featured our main characters barely at all. And ordinarily, I feel like I'd be really mad about that, especially given that it's two of the final three episodes of a series. But I don't mind. Like, this was really good. I don't mind. So I'm going to give this a rating of multiple Boimler screams and crashes, just kind of going on in perpetuity as it fades to black. And we go on to the next thing. That's because I felt like Boimler screaming a number of times in this episode, but screams of joy, not of sheer abject terror, as he did at the end here. Yeah. Huh. And also the commentary on multiversal stories was fun. I just want to get that in there again.
Yep.
That was great. Wow. Yeah, I think that's all I've got. So thank you so much for sorry, I'm just reading Ricky's comment here. I wonder if the episode order changed. Mariner's joke about never having been in jail before would have been funnier had the last episode was fully dilated. What happened in, oh my god, my brain is oh yeah, okay. Right. Yeah, it would have been right after the one where she spent basically a year in prison trying to have her Picard flute life. Wow. Oh, that's interesting. Little parallels there. That is, I didn't think of the irony of Mariner's comment in this episode. I've never been in jail before, because her character's been in the brig so many times in the Prime universe. And then, of course, as you mentioned, in Fully Dilated, she basically just spent a year in prison too. That's a good point. That's funny. Even more credit to the writers than I thought there.
Well done.
Awesome. Well, I guess all that's left is to say to follow us, on our various podcasts that we do. Make sure to hit subscribe on this channel. We're going to be doing, of course, one more live show for the final episode of Lower Decks next week. And then we'll be back in a month after that for Section 31. So
Yeah.
Star Trek continues. And we've got, of course, Lower Decks Season 3 coming next year as well. As of yet, nothing else coming next year, but we'll see. Brandi, how's Shield Podulation going? I think you're recording an episode today.
We are doing Birthright Part 2, which is
Nice.
Season 6, Episode 17 of The Next Generation. And we watched it last night, and we had things to say.
Nice.
So it's going to be a fun one, I think.
Awesome. And thank you, Tristan. I almost missed this. I scrolled back up to find it. Coupon Jim says, I am one with factory direct pricing, and factory direct pricing is with me.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Beautiful.
You are carrying this legacy to places it's never been before, and I appreciate you so much for keeping Coupon Jim alive.
Beautiful. And Wellington, thanks for mentioning Coupon Jim joke above, so I didn't miss that. Although I do see Tristan reposted it again, so thank you.
Excellent.
That's awesome. So good. Okay. Yeah, the Positively Trek podcast is still on a bit of a hiatus. One more special episode coming out before the new year, though, which I'm very slow on editing on. I apologize. Things have been crazy, but that will get out soon, I promise. And yeah, next week, I see that it's called, the episode title, according to Memory Alpha, is The New Next Generation, which is a very enticing title. I'm really curious what next week's going to be about. So
I will give you one spoiler, and it's not really a spoiler, but Mike McMahon wrote it.
okay, cool. Oh, and Donnie getting in with a late one here. 10 out of 10 quantum fissures. Excellent. Very very high ratings this week, as you can well imagine. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. We'll see you again next week. Until then, as always, live long and prosper, live logs and proper, and sarcastic, and all of that good stuff.